Ladies and gentlemen, that time of the week is here. We are back. We have assembled. We've got the panel together, and we come to you this week bearing good news. Gentlemen, Alabama gets a big-time win. Moments in this game looked like a time where Alabama turned it around. And, hey, you turn your phone off, whoever you are out there. This is a holy hour. No ESPN right now. It's time for us to talk about Alabama football. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Doing great, brother.
Doing great. Better than the Yankees right now.
A lot better than the Yankees. Freddie Freeman is not a fan of the Yankees and their pitching.
Yeah, see, I don't know a whole lot about baseball. Baseball is one of those sports where I love the history of it. I love what it has meant to the country, right? It's actually a sport that the Supreme Court and Congress have had some really cool history with. Some really cool rulings talking about where baseball stands in the American pastime. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you told me to name, well, now I could name Freeman because you just said his name. If you told me to name 5 Major League Baseball players, I think I could get to 3. Wow. Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Aaron Judge. After that, I got nothing for you.
Which is 2 more than I could name in the WNBA. So,
Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese.
I'm out.
Aja Wilson. I just know Aja Wilson.
Aja Wilson.
She's like
Diana Taurasi. I give you 4.
Aja Wilson is cold. I'm not gonna lie. Aja Wilson is cold. But guys, you know, me naming these things, these baseball players, that's hard. That's hard. But I'll tell you what also is hard. Daniel, tell us what's real hard and looks good around the house.
When we're talking hard, it doesn't get much harder than lamb stone. And hey, have you ever dreamed of having beautiful natural stone in or around your home or anywhere? Don't settle for subpar materials. Check out Lamstone Company's selection of natural stone products to meet your project needs. Lamstone is located in Aniana, Alabama, and is one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. So contact them today. Tell them we sent you by using the promo code the Bama Standard and receive 10% off your first order. Check them out today. Once again, thank you as always to Lamstone, who brings it. Nobody brings it harder than the Natural Stone Company.
I love it. I love it.
Well,
for you,
we won't have, Hey,
and if you're with us on Twitter right now, come on over to the Bama Standard, hit that like and subscribe.
Yeah, hit that. Listen, if you're watching on Twitter, we certainly thank you for that. We thank you for giving us your time. The 2 most valuable things you have in life is time and health, and I can't express to you how much it means that you give us your time. But if you're on Twitter, you might as well hop over to the YouTube channel. Why? Because you can be interactive. You can comment. We typically interact with the viewers, and you can ask questions, and at the end of the show, we answer those questions. I appreciate everybody being in here from Anitra. I almost said you, Dan, but you're here on the panel, so I appreciate you showing up on the panel and in the chat. Matt Steele, Anitra, Keenafy, Faith, William, Pretty Mimi, GT18. Once again, Dan. Daniel Pettey, also in the chat. Would you look at that? Oh, William,
go.
Damon, and Dale B. Appreciate all of you guys. Alabama's coming off of a big win. Very exciting, but unfortunately, there is some bad news, right? And that has to do with the injury report. Now, Alabama went into the game against Missouri knowing that Sab went down, but during the game, I don't know the extent of the injury. I just know that Cole Adams was on crutches, I believe. I once again don't know the extent. I'm not here to speculate on anything. Mbakwe got a little banged up. I don't know the extent of it. Guys, what is the injury report looking like right now for Alabama? Good news is, ladies and gentlemen, this is a bye week. So it allows guys to get healthy, and I think this is coming at the perfect time. Pettey, I'm going to start with you. What's this injury report looking like?
I actually don't have a good beat on it. I was going to I'm glad, hey, you started with me. I was going to go. I was daydreaming about what you were talking about with the guys going out and the guy who stepped in with Bray Hubbard. And if Matt and Chris weren't the only ones that had a good time at Rose Towers, because it looks like Vinny Kinseri might have too, and had an offspring by the name of Bray Hubbard who looks just like Vinny.
Peace.
Nothing to do with the injury report, but that was my little tidbit on that.
100%.
Sorry,
No. Listen, that's what this is.
Plead the fifth.
There you go. It's a round table. We do what we do. But speaking of Bray Hubbard, guys, I think everybody knew that this guy was going to be automatic in run support. I think we all knew he had the capability to be automatic against a pass, right? Mm. But Missouri's got really talented wide receivers. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. He read that quarterback like a book on that interception. I mean, that's textbook coverage, especially in this Womack scheme, the vision and break coverage on the back end. That's as textbook as it gets, the way he played that. And he played it well all night long. Bray Hubbard, we knew he would go out there and do big things. But the thing that shocked me wasn't his athletic ability, because if you've watched him, you knew he had that. It was his understanding of the situation despite his inexperience. And I know he's gotten reps. I'm sure Matt and Chris would tell you it's different to get reps than it is to be like, oh, you're the guy now. It's a little bit different. He handled it well. Dan, talk to me about this injury report.
Yeah, well, the thing is now, we expect, the usual Keon Sabb to be out the extended period of time. But the one I'm looking for is come Wednesday of next week. That's the one that's going to tell us where we are. But we definitely need to get a little more healthy especially in the secondary, because we're very thin there. We're injured way to being in the red. So the main thing this week, you're going to see a lot of guys in boots, walking boots. That's precautionary, a thing. So we're going to try to get healthy while maintaining, the level of intensity, on the defensive side. You're going to be a lot of film, watching a lot of film study this week, before we, try to get healthy before the walkthroughs.
Yeah, and like I said, this comes at a perfect time. Go ahead.
No, I am getting hit up for like, hey, idiot, from several texts and in the chat. Mbakwe apparently is okay. So this is one, should have, like I said, a little better, but no, people watching are giving the updates as we roll. Yeah, I don't think we're going to, like you said, with these damn injury reports coming out the week of, I know you may get a beat on some of them, but like some of it's just going to leak out throughout the week. But I think Mbakwe is fine.
Yeah, I had a bunch of people asking me on my show last night, how is Mbakwe? And I was sitting there being like, it almost worried me, because I was of the assumption that he was taken out more as just like a precautionary thing, where it's like, oh, you got a little banged up. We're kicking the ever-loving crap out of them. Let's just continue developing depth. That's what I had assumed it was, but so many people kept asking that whenever we were talking about the injury report, I certainly thought of it. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about as it pertains to Alabama's injuries? Go ahead, Matt.
I just want to say, I know Cole Adams was vital. Hopefully, he heals up, but I think we need to put Kendrick Law at punt return.
Well, this gets us into the second topic, right? Yeah. And that is, who should return punts for Alabama? Matt, go ahead and start us off, because you already got us going down that avenue.
Me personally, I don't. Ron Williams is good. Maybe you could spot him out there, but I think teams, the way they're looking at, they're trying to be more physical with him. So maybe you kind of spot play him. And Mbakwe's, he still need to get a little bit more experience, but I think you just need a veteran out there just to fair catch it or whatever. And I think Kendrick Law is the best option. Him or Emmanuel Henderson, those are my thoughts. But I'll leave it up to you guys.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go before we pass this around. I completely agree with everything you're saying. I think Kendrick Law is a guy that I was happy to see the offense start giving him more looks. We talked about this yesterday. Coach Al was saying he wants them to just send Kendrick Law on some of these long routes, because then if you have Ryan Williams going underneath and Kendrick Law going on the deep route, they got to choose one. and you have to respect Law's speed. That would make it to where Ryan Williams may be even more open, or they know who Williams is. They cheat down on that, and all of a sudden you go over top. But it's the theory of getting Law more touches. This is a guy that I just think brings a spark to this offense and blocking in terms of his energy, and you need to utilize that. I completely agree with you as well, Matt, about Ryan Williams. Do I think Ryan Williams may have the highest upside at punt return on the team? Probably. Like what he does with the ball in his hands. He made another guy damn near face plant this weekend against Mizzou. Hit the cut move on him. That guy almost fell to his face. What he can do with the ball in his hands is extraordinary. But Matt, you said it best. He's 17. I bet nobody knew that. I'm here to break the news right now. He's 17.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I know. I tried to hold it under wraps for this long, but that's the truth of the matter. He's 17 years old.
Breaking news at the final whistle, people.
Yeah, breaking
news.
We
landed on the moon at one point, too.
When?
Also, I know. Lou's going to debate it. Lou's about to debate this, but there's reports of moon landings.
When?
Wow. This is a breaking news show, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not watching here, I don't know what you're doing.
First whistle.
The first whistle. The first whistle, not the final one. You heard it here first. But with Ryan Williams already being wide receiver 1, and I'm not going to lie, guys, I told y'all this a while back. I didn't mind him even getting as many targets against Tennessee. He was open that much. We just missed. You need to make sure he's healthy. He's still growing. He's already getting a lot of looks on offense. Put Kendrick Law back there. Pettey, who are you thinking should return punts?
Man, it's funny. Matt kind of said something that speaks to my heart. And I don't know if all the rest of the fans are like this because, look, man, you're seeing the way punts are set up now with the rugby guys. There's so few returns. You just really want a guy back there that's going to catch the damn ball. Every time that punt goes in the air, my heart stops, and all I'm screaming is catch it, catch it, catch it, catch it. Just don't turn it over. So that's and I agree with you in that sentiment that the most upside, if you are going to get a return, is Ryan Williams. But look, man, again, he's 17. There's only so many hits you really want that kid taking at this age. Let him get a little bigger before we're doing that. Give me Kendrick Law. Give me a seasoned veteran that I know is going to be dependable back there. I would absolutely throw Law back there. And in the rare account that you get an open lane on one of the returns or a good return, man, Law's proven that he's hell in an open field. I'd love to see it.
Love it. Love it. Chris, talk to me.
Man, listen. Give me my boy Bubba Hampton, man. Get that guy a roll.
Actually, yeah.
Good one. Kid is so doggone dynamic, man. You got to get him on the field, man. He's the type that you don't want to lose to the portal. Put that kid out there, man. He's electric, man. Probably the most electric kid we have. Out there, at least one of the top 3 or 4 on the team. Give that guy some touches, man. We got to start putting our playmakers in position to make plays. And what better way than to give a freshman a role that that's not something that he can do in his sleep.
Great call, Chris.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one, actually. I love that answer. Dan, you gonna one up your brother?
Yes. What about Rico Scott?
Oh,
Hey.
But in all seriousness, right now, depending on injury, Cole Adams has done, the most consistent job as far as you want a ball handler back there. A guy to come up first, catch the ball. Don't let it hit the ground as much, So I think Cole Adams has done a great job as far as that. Now, explosiveness, Mbakwe, Ryan Williams, but I do not want to see Ryan Williams back there filling punts at this point. Mbakwe, within in the secondary, I don't want to see that. So, Cole Adams, Rico Scott, Bubba Hampton, those are very viable options. Kendrick Law as well. So we'll see. We have one thing is we have a lot of options.
Yeah, that's the beauty right now is you don't have a shortage of options. And I'm telling you what, one of the injuries that's really hurt me, because I don't think he'd be on punt return, but I know he'd be in this wide receiver room, and it might make it to where you would have to then play lot punt return, is Jalen Hale. I mean, can you imagine what Hale would be doing in this offense right now? Just extraordinary things. But I say extraordinary things as I pass it to Luscion, who's going to have an extraordinary take. Talk to me.
You know, I think this needs to be a way better coach position as far as what's going on in Alabama right now. The last few years, we've had way too many problems with that, and that might be because we've had athletes to just spoil us that have just been that impressive about it. But I think, to me, if it's not Kendrick Law, you got to get somebody that is used to seeing the field set up and blocked. So to me, I would maybe go a different way and give me the freshman running back that came in.
Kevin Riley.
What was his name? Kevin Riley. Give me Kevin Riley back there.
I like.
And here's why.
Answer.
Because the kid's twitchy and he's bouncy and he's used to being in space. And then, like, on punt return, you need that hard charger. Now, I agree with the Bubba Hampton because that was my first one, so I had to, go a little bit deeper. But you have to give one of these freshmen that teams aren't expecting that, or they're gonna be ready for it. Oh, Ryan Williams is out there. All right, we're just gonna go down there and just kill the kid, light him up, set him with Jalen Mbakwe. Kendrick Law's out there. Okay, we can't go hit them because Law's gonna put a hand in our face and probably it's gonna hurt a little bit. But if you put a freshman out there who looks like a grown man, and they're not really sure what's going to happen, and once these guys get off, both them dudes got speed. But like I said, Kevin Riley, that's my answer.
Great answer.
Great answer.
You caught me mid-drink of a Diet Coke as you finished up right there. I agree. That's a phenomenal answer. And the way you set it up, I think, is something that should be noted. You want someone out there that's going to understand what's happening in front of them. Running backs, I mean, they're going to be able to do that because that's what they see every single time as blocks being set up. But as we're transitioning, go ahead. Yeah,
like wide receivers, they're used to like getting the ball and like just going. That's a little bit different than just getting it and going. They're used to already being running and getting going. That's why I don't really necessarily like wide receivers out there. Plus, I get nightmares of former players just breaking legs and we don't need to go into that.
Yeah, no,
on punt returns.
That's a tough position to be in anyways. And so that's why I think everybody here gave really good answers. Love the Bubba Hampton answer. Love the Rico Scott answer. And I really like the Kevin Riley answer because I didn't even think of that one. But I'll tell you what we definitely need to talk about. That's William and Morris with this $5 donation saying there is talk of Milroe coming back next year. Does the panel think this is good or not so good? Roll Tide, roll. I have no idea. I'm not going to lie. I think that he's still going to get a draft grade that is solid. He's displayed the ability that he did improve. If you look at that Georgia game, he hit short, intermediate, deep. Unbelievable percentage in that game. He's had 2 games where he really struggled, being South Carolina and Tennessee. Outside of that, he hasn't had a bad year. I think he's a little banged up right now, but I think everybody is. I think he's going to the NFL, guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't come back. I would go. Just because leave it to the NFL GMs. Like, somebody will find him and develop him and have a system for him. So,
Colts are going to need a quarterback.
A lot of teams need a quarterback.
They want the same thing in the version 2.0? What?
Yeah, a lot of teams.
He's a lot better than Anthony.
I think
Richardson.
He's a lot better than Anthony Richardson, in my opinion.
Is he?
Like, he'll do great.
100%.
He'll do great in the combine. He's got better film.
Y'all say so.
That's a good debate question.
I think
he's got more starts.
2.0.
He's got more starts. He's played the past 2 years, including this year. So
Anthony Richardson never had above a 59% completion percentage.
And he only played, like 8 games or 9 games? Like,
yeah, Anthony Richardson didn't go 82% against Georgia, literally tearing up the secondary at every level. I don't think that there's even a debate to be had.
Yeah, he'll get a first round. He'll get
I don't either. I think Anthony
rounder.
Richardson could start in the NFL, and I don't think Milroe can. So I don't think there's a debate.
I don't think Irsay agrees with you.
Yeah.
That's why they just pulled him.
Oh, hey, I don't think Anthony Richardson. Oh, I'm going to bite my damn tongue because that's going to take me down a different path. No. I don't think either one of them are NFL quarterbacks. But
let's respond to the question.
I think he should go. I would go.
I would depend now what you said, Ty. If he's still getting a good draft grade, yeah. Why do you come back and risk injury?
Right.
Go.
That's the issue. Yeah.
Take it. Go.
That's what it's based on, his draft grade. You know, if he gets a good draft grade, you know, second round or better, you know, hey, you go without a doubt.
Just depends on if his pro contract can be better than his semi-pro contract.
All right.
You know, I think too, it also has to do with like if he gets a mid-draft grade, I think there's a possibility we could see him do something similar to what Jalen Hurts did.
Like go to another school.
Yep.
I just don't know that we have a Tua on the roster, right? You know, I think that the quarterback room is good, but at the point where 3 different offensive coordinators and now 2 head coaches have said Milroe's the best quarterback to give us a possibility to win, at a certain point, I think you got to believe all that.
Hey, until Keelan Russell get on campus.
Yeah, I was going to say until the president enrolls. The president's coming.
That boy might play as a freshman.
It's always the new guy. That's the most popular guy.
Oh, yeah. The most popular guy on campus is always the new guy.
We haven't had a Keelan since Bryce.
Yeah, we'll see. It's an interesting question sure.
It is. I mean, I don't. What good does it do if he gets a high draft grade for him to come back? I mean, how much more development is he going to get at the college level at this point?
If he gets the first 2 round draft grade, he needs to go.
He's going to get a 2-round draft grade.
He needs to go, like you got from Cincinnati a couple years back. Desmond Ridder.
What are you hearing on that, Tyus? What's his draft? What's his draft look like right now? Is he a first round?
They're still talking about him as a day 1 type guy because of his upside. And like I said, if we look at this year, he's had 2 bad games. The first portion against Mizzou wasn't great, but as the game went on, he started getting in rhythm. But I think that the one game that was just objectively really bad was Tennessee, where it looked like he was almost doing some of the things we saw last year. Even against South Carolina, I thought it was one of those things where it was like the team as a whole didn't play terrible outside of 6 disastrous plays. Like there are bad plays and then there's disastrous plays. And I thought against South Carolina, it really boiled down to momentum shifting in 6 disastrous plays. Outside of that, everybody wanted to know, can he hit the wide receivers in the intermediate? Well, if you look at his passing charts, every area where people question, can he hit this? He's exponentially increased his accuracy in those areas. So I think when you look at his upside, if he goes to LSU, has a good game there, a good game against Oklahoma, and Alabama makes the playoffs, I think he's going to be a day 1 guy.
They already got him on day 1 just from his upside. I've seen him either at 30 with the Giants or, higher. So, quarterbacks, we looked at last year's draft. Quarterbacks are going to push up. Offensive guys are going to go higher than expected. Somebody's going to fall in love with them and use them as a project, especially if he goes later because he'll get behind a good team. Most of your decent teams are toward it later in the draft. So.
Well, and let's be real, man. You talk all this, and then it gets to the underwear Olympics, and the underwear Olympics can absolutely catapult you. And I fully expect Jalen to massacre that event.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna absolutely kill the combine. And so I just think when you look at everything, upside, he's only really had 1 year with a actual staff that develops quarterbacks. Everything outside of that was a guy that told him, you're not a quarterback. And then Tommy Rees, who I think Tommy Rees did his best. But now he has actual quarterback coaches. And that's why, Dale, I know you said he's regressed. I know that there's this stats that have been floating around the message board, and they're like, oh, well, this is where he was last year through 7 games. Nobody posted that before the Tennessee game. If you would have looked at that before the Tennessee game, it wasn't even close. This is an argument of convenience, not one of actual proportionate evaluation, in my opinion. But we need to move on. We also need to give a shout out to Anitra for becoming a member of the channel. Thank you very much, Anitra. Thank you for supporting everything that you do.
You will be getting your autographed Dan James picture in the mail shortly. Just leave that address.
That sounds dangerous. But I'll tell you what else sounds dangerous. It's time for Luscion to take us to the danger zone.
Nice.
Every time I think of Top Gun and the motorcycle and the jacket.
Highway. Okay, I'm not going to sing it. You get it.
You're on mute.
We couldn't get the rights to it, so me and the motorcycle scene we shot over the weekend, it's not going to work, guys. I'm sorry. It looked pretty good in my opinion. Like there was some lightning and thunder in the background, but okay. So the danger zone this week, it's simple. It's a bye week. We all know what this is. This is nurse your wounds, lick your chops, and get healthy. But at the same time, you have to stay hungry. What I mean by staying hungry is these guys can't just slime through the motions. They have to be as if not more attentive in a game week than they are this week when they go into this bye week. They have to have a sharp attitude. They have to keep their habits on point. They can't just walk through the motions. I know a lot of these guys are banged up, but the guys that aren't have to work that much harder because they're going to be dependent on this part of the season. This is the grind. We're through October. This is November now, Pernier. This is the time in football where you figure out if you have a starting lineup or you just have a good football team. Now, we've had our ups and downs, but I think if these guys actually lock in and do what they need to do and follow the damn processes that Kalen DeBoer has set out for these guys, I think we can be successful next week. And how we come out is going to be depending on what these guys do this week. And that's what some people don't realize is important. You gotta prepare, and preparation starts when you have a bye week, watching film, studying. You get an extra week to dive into your opponent. You get that much more time to just focus on doing your job. I know people are going to say, man, you guys beat that into the sand with that. But doing your job is the most important thing in football. Football is a team sport. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Football is a team sport that is only successful when everybody does their job. It's simple. Football is a simple sport if everybody does their job. So this week, the danger zone is simple. Do your job, continue to get better, and stay hungry because the season's not over yet. I know we harped on them pretty big last week for what happened, but some of these players showed up last week, and I'm proud of them for that. I still need to see a little bit more from the leaders, but I think if they lock back in and some of these upperclassmen actually nut up and let them hang out this week and actually show these guys some competition and what it means to be an Alabama football player, this bye week will be a success. But again, it's not on us. We could talk to a blue in the face, but it's on these players to get it done. So I hope they're listening. Stay hungry, fellas. Stay hungry.
You know, with that in mind, I have a question for the panel. Because we talk a lot about what you can learn from a loss, but I also have a theory. I think that you can learn more from a win if certain things happen. And personally, I think those things happened on Saturday, which leads me into this question based on what Lou said about staying hungry. Guys, not only did Alabama pitch a shutout, but we have to look at how they pitched the shutout. Missouri had 167 yards on the ground, I believe, and 80 of that came whenever the starters weren't in on defense. They drove down the field, 4th and goal. All of a sudden, the leaders on this defense are rearing to get back into the game. They go in there, 4th down stop on the goal line. Let's be very clear here. Let's really understand this situation. It wouldn't have mattered in the win-loss column if Missouri had gotten that touchdown. Alabama was kicking their teeth in. The game was done. But it wasn't done to them. They went back in there, got that fourth down stop. You saw Jalen Milroe walking up to Kane Womack to dap him up. Everybody in that moment showed an intensity, a fire, and a want to that I think was a little bit different. I think we've seen those moments this season, but this one felt different. And you can tell me, but Ty, they had this guy out and this guy out. You better know who Marcus Carroll is. You better know who Roberts is. They've got really good running backs. I know Nasty Nate was out. They've still got a running back in Marcus Carroll that would play at 95% of colleges and be their running back one without anybody batting an eyelash. He's that good. They've still got wide receivers on the outside. Luther Burden could be a day one draft pick.
Yes.
Like, they've got talent. They have got talent on this team. My question to all of you, did we just witness the moment that Alabama found the catalyst to turn the season around in terms of buy-in, in terms of hunger, everything? Pettey, I'm going to start with you.
I love that question, Ty. And, man, I kind of brought it up last night. I felt like this game wasn't Bama against Missouri. I know that's a dumb thing to say, but if Bama – this was a week where there was a lot of outside noise. And, look, man, in this day and age of social media, these players hear it. And I didn't care about the opponent across the side because I knew if Bama took care of themselves, that the score was going to take care of itself. So that, like you said, there was things you wanted to see. I saw is not as much celebrating on Saturday. It was much more of a business-like approach from Alabama. And, yeah, I don't care who was hurt. Bama needed to be Bama. It didn't matter who they were tackling, who was throwing the ball, who was catching the ball. You see ball, you hit. It's very simple. Play football. Go to the ball, hit, be aggressive. You're faster, more athletic. And they showed that throughout the day. But to get to your point, Ty, absolutely. There are moments in seasons, and I really want to hear our players on the team that played speak to this, that can absolutely galvanize a team where, you know, you've got a little bit of infighting, you're hearing some noise, but there's that moment in a game where the team just kind of comes together. There's like, hell yeah, there's more to play for. You that love kind of strikes you in a moment. It can happen. Sports do that. That's what's great about them. And yeah, so you're sitting there, you've kicked their ass all day, but now they're driving on the backup defense, yada, yada. This happens. You see it. A lot of times you just let it go and they get a garbage touchdown, but no. Like you said, the starters came in, and they didn't just come in. They could have come in, been a little rusty, not gotten a little bit of fire, and still given up that touchdown. Now, they came in like it was their asses were on fire, and they weren't going to let that touchdown be scored. And then you saw the sideline erupt. You saw Milroe go to Womack after it and hug him and say thank you. That's your team leader at quarterback going to the defensive coordinator. Those are galvanizing moments. So, yeah, I'll be honest, that moment and then seeing Milroe go hug Womack, I absolutely – and then you sit Saturday night and saw what happened at Kyle Field and like, shit, you get through LSU and Death Valley and this thing opens up. All that angst from the last few weeks can go away real quick. And, yeah, to answer your question, I do think that's a play that can turn it all around.
Love it. Matt, let me hear from you because like Pettey said, I'm really interested in hearing from you and Chris on this one.
Yeah, sorry. I agree. I think it goes back to, you know, how do you handle adversity? You know, I feel like, you know, being a former athlete, I mean, it is what it is, but just going in life, you never know how you're challenged unless you go through adversity, unless you go through being tested. And Alabama was about as low as it could have been. But it was one voice that I heard all week, all the players talk about was Tyler Booker, making sure he was on everybody, but they were making sure they were doing the little things, shirts tucked in, being on time, all that stuff. They were truly locked in. And to me, it showed on the game Saturday. I think we only had like 8 penalties. I mean, look, let's be honest, guys. This SEC officiating, that's got to be pretty good. I mean, some of those calls weren't even warranted. But that's neither here nor there. But Pettey, to your point, like talking about the guys galvanizing on the sideline, you seem like you had more camaraderie. They were playing for each other. They looked more unified. You mentioned Milroe going to Womack. You looking at DeBoer coaching on the sideline. You looking at the starters looking at the defense and like chewing them out and like, come on, guys, don't let them score. Like, you talking about pride. To me, that made Alabama football look like itself. And I think it was a good aha moment for not only the players, but for the coaching staff and how to coach these guys. I mean, what made my day was one of my biggest highlights was seeing when I think Rock Montgomery had a penalty and DeBoer got into his face and we're up like, what, 30-some points. You know, like that's something kind of Saban-esque. So I think if they could take advantage of this momentum and utilize and say, guys, when we do everything right, look where we're going. They can, you know, kind of find the magic in a crucial part of the season. Hopefully it pays dividends down the road.
Love it. Love it. And I'll tell you what else pays dividends is we need to invest in some Red Bulls. Chris, talk to me.
Yes, man. I feel like Bama did find that goal line stand did wonders, man. It's just like just to see how excited they got to maintain the shutout, even though the game was well in hand, and so it shows that the players are still engaged, you know. And I just felt like it's always that turning point in somebody's season because it seems like Bama always needs a loss to get it to get it together for the rest of the season. With them having two and us, you know, would it been a 12-team playoff now, with us still having, you know, a shot at it. I think that that's what's going to turn us around, but especially going into Baton Rouge, we needed some type of momentum heading into the Baton Rouge because you know they're gonna try to cheat down there. But, but I just like what I saw. They played with so much more fire and passion than they had the past few games, especially the past three. So to see that and to see our defense actually be able to show up after halftime, that was very encouraging to see, man. And how about the touches when Justice Haynes gets those touches, man? He's like a machine, man. He gets stronger as he goes. You know, he starts off, then he starts getting those touches. The second half, man, like I still feel bad for the DB he ran over. You know, I just think that we're kind of starting to find our identity now as a team.
You know, Dan, as I pass it to you, Chris said something that I think that we definitely need to understand. Do you want to know why I think Alabama has struggled in the run game? Because you haven't stuck with it enough. And I know there's a tendency that if you're only getting 2 yards as an offensive coordinator, you're looking and you're like, well, I have an offensive line that's been pass protecting very well throughout the season. I have wide receivers who are getting open. I have a quarterback who can stress a defense through utilizing his legs and keeping them honest on the back end. I'm going to throw the ball. But this is the example I always give. Guys on the panel, how did Tyson Fury, and this is a sore spot for Bama fans, how did Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder the second time?
Body blow.
But what else did he do? He came into the fight 20 pounds heavier than he did the first fight, and every time they got in the clinch, he leaned on him. So that Deontay Wilder had to carry his own weight plus Tyson Fury's weight. As the fight wore on, his legs were done. He couldn't carry anymore because every time Tyson Fury just leaned on him, made him carry his weight, they'd separate and they'd go back at it. Your offensive line has to lean on the defensive front, wear them out, and as the game gets going, that's when those body blows turn into home run shots. That's what we saw.
Can we also get them to wear like a medieval gown and warm up?
Well, that certainly doesn't help.
Deontay did on the way to was that the one where he wore the 700?
That was the second fight.
That was the second one.
Sheridan
Yeah,
got to the ring and his legs were already jello because that damn medieval armor.
I don't doubt
Let's
it.
get
But
your eardrum bust.
Yeah. Also, the eardrums getting busted, that doesn't help. We saw Ruiz beat the Anthony Joshua the same way, hit him in the ear one time and just upset him. It's the same theory, ladies and gentlemen. Lean on them, get them tired. As the game goes on, they don't want to hit you anymore. That's what we saw. Dan, talk to me. Did Alabama find their catalyst?
I love it. When you're late in the game, you're down on the goal line. You're trying to get guys experience, but to put the starters back in at that point, I thought that was awesome. That sent the message to the team of how serious we are about defense and what we're trying to do. So I loved it, and then the reaction on the sideline when we got the stop. I think so. I think we did find the catalyst, and that's a great rallying point. You know what I'm saying? So. Tremendous effort by the defense. You didn't want to lose the shutout. You think about the effort that the first team put in. You didn't want to lose that, and that meant so much to them. And for the coach to allow them to go back in and maintain it, that was incredible. I loved it.
Love it. Lou, talk to me.
They did, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the play that everybody just talked about, in my opinion. I think that was, it was good. We got the shutout, but should have taken care of business with the guys on the field. That's just the Alabama standard. Let's be real. I'm not going to paint it any different. The play to me that turned it around was Quay Russo's interception. The reaction on that play, the whole team gathered around him. That play. I saw wide receivers getting up and chest bumping him. You want to talk about a catalyst play, Ty? An outside linebacker who's a wolf, whose speciality is rushing the quarterback and knocking running backs' heads off, drops in coverage and dives and makes a play on the football. There were wide receivers running up to that guy. When I see that type of energy, that's a catalyst to me. That tells me this team might actually be what I'm trying to look for, a team. They found a catalyst. Now let's see if they can build on it.
Love it. Love it. Well, I'll tell you what else we need to build on. We found ourselves a nice island property, ladies and gentlemen, and it's time to build upon that island property. It's time to go to an island with Matt and Chris. Give me that music. I love it every time.
Just love the Jamaican islands.
Love it every time. Matt, take it away.
Listen, we're here on an island, Matt and Chris, where we talk about outside, players on the island, DBs, receivers. Chris, I'm going to start with you because you're going to talk about a really great player that I want to chime in, and I can't wait to talk about the topic that I want to go. So I'm going to let you go first, Mr. James.
Yes. Oh, sound like a professor. Tonight I want to talk about Bray Hubbard, man. Like that kid, we knew that he could play ball because Saban handpicked him from camp. He had a great camp. They said he was like the best DB there, best safety there, and he just blew Coach Saban away, even though we knew how good of an athlete he was playing high school quarterback in Mississippi. And the guy just he's off the charts, man, with his athleticism and his football IQ. But just to see him be so comfortable and at ease on the back end, and like he's violent with great ball skills. But Lou will tell you, Lou and Justin, we were all at the A-Day sitting right there, and we saw Bray Hubbard making plays. We said something then, Lou. We said that Hubbard is flying all over the field. He's gonna be special. We saw that back in April. Remember that, Lou?
I do.
Yeah, and he
made
was
a hit on the sideline.
Yeah, he stood out doing A-Day. We said, man, that's a guy to keep an eye on, man, because he played great, and it's like he picked up where he left off. And I mean, he's big, man. He's 6'2", 205. Has a great frame. He can get over the top side out of the sideline, and he comes downhill with bad intentions. And like you need big physical safeties in the SEC especially with how thin we are right now with all those injuries, man. So we need some bodies that's gonna not be as brittle and kind of hold up. And to pair him back there with Malachi, that's gonna kind of help him grow. Being with a veteran like him. So next year when it's him, Sab, and Devontae Smith, it's gonna be Red Morgan. It's gonna be even more enjoyable to watch. But the things that stand out to me about Bray Hubbard was like he said, I think Ty mentioned it earlier. Like it's different from being called on cold turkey and being kind of prepared. So by him getting those reps after Saab went down and seeing him in that Tennessee game and everything, by seeing him get those reps and everything, it kind of eased the transition. But even if he was thrown in that cold turkey, I doubt he would have been rattled or anything. I think that he still would have been that competitor that he is, man. But I am excited about this kid, y'all. I think he has we're looking at a future NFL safety on the back end. He kind of reminds me of a little bit, and I even go out and say a little bit better Jordan Battle, with how he's a bigger kid, but he can move, has ball skills, and he doesn't mind. And another name that comes out is Harrison Smith, the old Notre Dame safety that was with the Vikings for a long time. I'm not sure if he's still with the Vikings, but a tough safety that can kind of do it all. So keep an eye on this guy, y'all. You're looking at a future NFL player.
Yeah, and can I add to that, Chris? One thing I love about Bray Hubbard, I felt like he had our defense in a better situation. I felt like he elevated all the rest of the other 10 guys. And his football IQ, like this guy studies film, like his football IQ. If you go back to that Tennessee game when Tennessee was like 2 minutes left and we needed to get a stop, he came off and made that key third down stop to get us the ball back in the Tennessee game. So he has a lot of just football IQ, and I think that's going to pay off, especially us going into Baton Rouge, dealing with Nussmeier and all those guys. They're going to try it, but I think he's going to help that back end look really good. And another player that looked really good, Mincy at safety. He looked pretty good. I think that's just going to help him be able to be more valuable, kind of like the Eddie Jackson in this secondary. So I want to anybody else want to just discuss Bray Hubbard before I go? Lou, Dan.
I just want to say, quarterbacks some reason tend to make great safeties.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look at good DB guys. Look at Jalen Mbakwe. He played quarterback in high school all last year, and look at him. Yeah, it's just their athletic IQ, and they're actually students of the game is what I'm a fan of. And like Chris said, like Bray Hubbard is a student of the game. We was talking about that dude on A-Day when he was going around just thumping people. Like, if this dude gets on the field, folks, watch out, because he might not give the position back. He might force Kane Womack to just shake up the lineup. Because honestly, if he's back there, I felt real comfortable back there with him. And in the run game, the dude is a headhunter. He reminds me of that original 3 back there that used to headhunt people back about a decade and a half ago.
Yeah, it's all the way back to the Pat Terrell. I was just watching that the other day on the Catholics First Convicts, and Lou Holtz got Pat Terrell, who was the quarterback, then moved to receiver, but then found a home at safety. And he was saying on that, as a safety, you play quarterback your whole life, you're just basically playing quarterback. So yeah, I think it definitely translates and has for a while.
Yeah, Chris, talk a little bit more about that, because you were a quarterback, turned into a safety, so you can relate.
Yeah, because it's easy, man. Once you know what to look for, like when you're a quarterback, you know what to look for in the quarterback, as far as like reading their eyes, high shoulder, low shoulder. When they have that high shoulder, they're going deep. The low shoulder, you can drive down on the ball and rob routes or whatnot. Man, it's just like you think you may just say you're in the middle of the field and you see a quarterback it may be a 3-by-1 trips to one side with a single backside receiver, and you may see him give that guy a look. You may pick up on little things like, hey, he's finna go one-on-one, try to get something on his backside receiver. Little things like that, you kind of cheat over, make the play over. It's just little things that you can see at safety that what quarterbacks are taught or what they do, and you can kind of beat them to the punch on it. And so he sees the game from a completely different view from being on that side of the ball as opposed to somebody that grew up as a DB their whole life. So that's always great when a DB. That's why Ibakwe is so good, is able to play the way he's playing right now at corner, and he looks polished already because he knows what he can cheat. He has a cheat code. When you play quarterback, you have the cheat code.
I agree.
Yeah, I love it.
Todd, did you want to add anything about Bray Hubbard before I go?
No, I think that y'all covered it perfectly. I'm excited to hear what your thoughts are.
So we're going to the island, and guys, I know I was on Nick Sheridan and Milroe last week, so I'm going back to Nick Sheridan and Milroe again this week on the island. So Nick Sheridan, DeBoer, listen, I was so glad to see y'all run pistol, and guess what? We were able to run the ball. We had running backs running left and right all game. We controlled the game. So now, Nick Sheridan, you need to take what you've learned. Now you need to evolve the game plan. You ran pistol. Now maybe we go pistol heavy. Put Robbie Oops beside Milroe. Why don't we run, I don't know, Diego Pava's offense, the triple option? Why not? What do we have to lose? You got probably the most athletic quarterback in the SEC. You got 2-3 stalwarts in the backfield. So now it's time to get creative. I would say go more I formation because, listen, we're going in a hostile environment, going on the road. We're thin already on defense in the secondary. Nussmeier's going to try to sling it around. Listen, what better way? You look at what Texas A&M was able to do against LSU. Marcel Reed came in, took over the game. So that's probably got Brian Kelly in that defense already a little bit nervous. But we can save those Milroe plays for later. Well, why don't we just pound the rock? Get in I formation, get in pistol heavy, get creative in your formations, and come up with a counter. Get creative in the running game because that's going to pay dividends on down the line. You see how we control the games. Teams are not prepared, not kind of caught off guard by Alabama running the ball, showing different formations. So that adds a little wrinkle to your offensive game plan. Nick Sheridan, DeBoer, Milroe. I saw Milroe carrying out play fakes this Saturday, so that was a big plus. So I've been waiting on that all week. So I just want to say Milroe, Sheridan, continue to involve in the running game. Get creative. Offensive line, y'all need to say, hey, this is what's working. They can't stop this. We just need to line up and run this all game till they stop it. So run the ball, run more I formation because I feel like the more formations you can present to the defense, the more you have at your disposal in your bag. You're able to do play action. You can always go back to the shotgun. And now you got those safeties rolled up trying to stop the run. The offense is you open up Pandora's box, in my opinion. So continue to evolve and build on this with more formations, more power eye, pistol heavy, get creative. Listen, I hope your eyes were open just looking at how Richard Young is an effective running back. You could do so many mixed matches in the running game with what if you put Jim Miller and Justice Haynes in the backfield in the pistol heavy set? You could do so much. So get creative, utilizing your talent because that's what's going to pay dividends on down the road. And I want to talk about receivers. I just want to shout out Kobe Prince. Looks like he's not seeing the ball. He's looking like he's losing a little confidence or whatnot just from the Missouri game. That kid just needs to stay focused, stay in the lab. It's happened to all of us. But I do think this is an opportunity where we need to, I think the Luscion mentioned it, we need to see more Emmanuel Henderson. I feel like he's a big-time explosive receiver. Guys mentioned Rico Scott, Bubba Hampton, Caleb Odom. We need to start getting those guys involved into the offense because listen, next man up. If Kobe Prentice don't want to do it, somebody's got to come in and fill the job. And I think you look at it, Emmanuel Henderson, we have a lot of successes when he's on the field. So listen, let's get those other guys involved. I'm looking to see Rico Scott, Bubba Hampton, more Emmanuel Henderson. I think that helps, our offense. So anything you guys want to add to what I mentioned?
What I would add is, talking about the ability to get in more guys at wide receiver. Unfortunately, the injury to Cole Adams is already going to force Alabama into a position where somebody has to step up. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Emmanuel Henderson might be in for a big day against LSU because that's a defense that you can get. They're going to try and take away one option being Ryan Williams, right? Jeremy Bernard can eat. Emmanuel Henderson can eat. Law can eat. But I agree with you, Matt. I think that Alabama is at their best when they run the ball off tackle. And I think Richard Young showed an ability. At times this year, it's almost felt like the running game is a little hesitant. And I don't necessarily mean from a play call perspective. I mean everything. Richard Young had no hesitation. He got the ball and he attacked the line. And that, I think, is something that we did see Justice and Jam do as this game went on. Richard Young came in there, instantly did it, look back at the sidelines. I loved that for him and what that means. That's about all I have to add. Gentlemen, anybody want to add anything else before we go to our next segment?
I do. We have a freak of nature in our wide receiver room, and he has been targeted very, very little, and it angers me. Now, I know we got to talk about all this depth we got all these people on this team, but in certain situations this season, I mean, he's 6'5". Like, just give him a chance. I'm just saying, just throw the kid one ball and watch what he does with it. Because I hate to tell you, this is Alabama. When a young guy gets a chance and he makes a play, that's how they get their names on the wall. So I just feel that, this is my direct shot at Sheridan tonight. Throw the ball to Caleb Odom once or twice. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. He's a matchup nightmare. Like, move him in like he's going to be a tight end and split him out in the slot, and then you got him against the safety. Or a linebacker. That's a mismatch problem.
Even against a DB, he's still 6'5".
Yeah.
In an end zone, I'm taking that. Even if we're talking about Jalen Milroe throwing whatever he does. I'm just saying, you got to take advantage of every weapon we have. And we could talk about not giving the ball to Kendrick Law, and that pisses me off too. But we have to utilize Caleb Odom. You got to get him in that, because in the playoffs, I'm telling you, people ain't guarding him.
Love it. Love it.
And like we could be using him like Ole Miss used to use Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Good
He
point.
was a match-up nightmare for us.
Yeah. Keep him at tight end and have him matched up on those linebackers and safeties.
Absolutely. Yes, work middle of the field. Those seams.
I'll tell you what's a matchup nightmare for anybody playing Alabama, and that's when all of you beautiful people whip out that Tidal towel and let them know where your fandom lies. Pettey, tell us about the Tidal towel.
Hey, man, we know it's an off week, but you got to be gearing up, because this Tidal towel is going to have many uses when you take it with you down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So before you head down to Red Stick, and which is going to be the craziest armband Taylor Swift carny you've ever seen of coon asses, you're going to want that Tidal towel. So go to whitwillsports.com today. Give them the promo code standard, get you a little discount, because like I said, you're going to need it to wipe the whiskey that they're slinging on you off, the tears off their faces once you take their corn dogs from them and shove it up their asses. Look, man, or just to swing it around and let them know that Alabama's in town to whip some coon dog ass. Look, whitwillsports.com, one of the oldest and best sponsors of the Bama Standard. Help them out today, because they are absolutely one of the best to us. We love you, whitwillsports.com. Go to it today. Whitwill, get that Tidal towel.
Love it. Love it. Now, it's time for my favorite part of the show, guys. It's that time that I look for every single week. Pettey, your mailbag, I've already heard legend of what has arrived in it. Take it away.
Oh, man. I don't know, man. Oh, shoot, I've done got the fuzz. I guess I focused on something else. Sorry, folks, if I'm fuzzy here for a second.
No, you're on the SEC officiating lens.
SEC. I'm on the massage parlor cam. This is what it looks like. So
you got baby oil on your lens, Pettey.
They do this down in Opelika, so you can't see exactly who's coming in, even though you know. So, with that said, I want to thank all you lovely people for sending in questions for this week's mailbag. We're going to start right off with Drew from Tuscaloosa. I think I know this one. Are you watching the World Series? And if so, are you enjoying it? Drew happens to be a Braves fan. No, Drew, I'm not enjoying it because you Braves couldn't keep Freddie Freeman on your dang team, your little engine that could, cheap asses in Atlanta, and now he's treating the Yankees like all y'all treated me growing up, just beating them to death. No, I'm not enjoying it. The Yankees are about to get swept by the Dodgers. However, it is nice to finally see baseball get to a place where I'm tired of all these little engines that could. Let's get some real baseball. Yankees, Dodgers, blue bloods that spend real money to win. But no, all that aside, if you're not watching baseball right now, Shohei Ohtani is the best baseball player to ever live, and he's playing right now. Turn it on. And he's not even pitching this year. He's going to pitch next year, and he's amazing. But shoot, and again, I'm a Yankees fan. Lou's getting mad at me. Aaron Judge, who had to hit a ball this postseason. Dude, if Aaron Judge would hit a ball, I'd brag on him. But he's batting like he's going up to the plate like he doesn't even have a damn bat in his hands.
We still got Stanton.
Stanton is killing it. Look, man, Yankees are up 5-4 right now. Maybe we can reverse the whole stupid documentary that's on Netflix right now when the Boston Red Sox came down from 3-0 and the Yankees can have their magical moment against the Dodgers. But yes, Drew, I am watching. I have it on right now. I'm trying to pull the Yankees through. Question number 2, Tom from Nashville. What scares Hugh Freeze more? Another matchup with Diego Pavia or a close sign on the Opelika massage parlor? Ooh. That's a tough one. I mean, Diego's now beating 2 years in a row, beat him at Liberty, then beat him with New Mexico State at Auburn, and now he's actually on a better team. But I think he kind of knows he's going to lose. I think when he goes to a massage parlor, he expects a quick victory. So when he sees that close sign, that scares him more. I'm going with the close sign on the massage parlor. Number 3, Bill from Birmingham. Is it bullshit that LSU gets all of their at-home SEC games at night? Absolutely it is. It is freaking mathematically, scientifically, alcoholically proven that those coon asses get better as the night goes on. Let's go through some stats. Since 1960, they've only played 58-day SEC games. That's less than one a year. I think they've only played 3 in the last 15 years. And they've got a 500 record of 29, 26-3 in those games. Not so good. But at night since 1960, they played 300 night games, in which are 231, 61, and something. So that's like a 787 win percentage. So, yeah, it is kind of bullshit that they let them get drunk all night, throw stuff at you, and do all that tiger yelling as you run out of the dugout. I mean, yeah, man, it's mathematically proven. It's crap. I promise you Alabama would rather play those coon asses during the day than at night where it gets crazy. I'm going to let Matt chime in on that. I don't know if he got to play down there at night.
You're going to want to – if you're going to LSU, Alabama, LSU, you're going to want to play at night. That's the best. It's so live. You're going to be like, oh, my God.
You're going to love it. So it worked. Well, I tell you, y'all, that's the one thing, though. Bama's the anomaly here where LSU's, 231, 61. I think half of those 61 are Alabama. Bama owns Baton Rouge, right?
We own Baton Rouge. Right. We love – Alabama loves going down there more so than anything, especially at night.
Because you know what? And that does point to something. Bama's a little different breed. They're cut from a different cloth. They ain't scared of that shit. So they're going to go down to Kearney Town in a couple weeks and take care of business. All right, question number 3. Number 4, Barbara from Winona, Mississippi. We all like polls, and with Halloween around the corner, what are your rankings of Halloween's top 5 candies? Holy crap, this is way off. But I'm glad you asked that because Halloween is 2 days away, and I will be stealing candy from my kid. So here are my top 5. And I mean, it's right. If you disagree, you're just wrong. Number 1, Reese's, the Reese's pumpkin
bite-sized mini cups.
Hey,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
scientifically proven that the holiday Reese's are better than the regular Reese's because the ratios are different.
Fact, right there. And it doesn't matter if it's the Christmas tree or the little pumpkin, whatever it is. Fire. Number 2, Sour Patch. Anything sour, I got to get that chocolate followed up by that sour. Number 3, I'm an old school Twix guy. Number 4, Laffy Taffy. Anything but the banana, though. If you put the banana in there, I'm going to sue you.
All right, mute his mic.
Yeah, he's fired.
Right. 5th, like y'all are wrong. 5th, and this is low key, and I'm sure there's going to be some
Werther's original.
The flavored Tootsie Rolls, like those.
All right, mute his mic.
What are you, an English teacher?
Fire. However,
all old school candy.
If you go to a house,
Mary Jane,
somebody hands you candy corn, you have just met a fucking serial killer. Get the hell out of there.
Pettey, you are hilarious. That's why I said Werther's original. I was like, this is going old school real fast.
Dude, look, man, you can't just go with all the new stuff. You got to look, man. You would get that candy corn and be like, what asshole gave me this? But then you would get those crazy colored Tootsie Rolls back in the 80s and you would open it. And man, that orange Tootsie Roll was pretty good.
Chris,
Man, that was just the orange Tootsie Roll, Pettey.
No, Pettey like the Halloween candy that just came in the black and the orange wrapper. You just know what it was.
Well, I was from Mississippi, so man, there was a lot. Like the warning of, hey, there may be some shit in this candy was real in our hood. You had to really, like, mom had to check that stuff.
That's hilarious.
She took it too.
Black jelly bean.
What would y'all trade out of that list?
Laffy Taffy gotta go. And your
Tootsie Rolls gotta go.
Tootsie Rolls gotta
go. Roll gotta go.
Y'all make candy or dances.
Dan shook his Laffy Taffy one time on here.
He did too.
I you were 1 for 1. I'll even give you. I love me some sour. 2 for 2. I like Twix. I'll allow that one. 3 for 3, and then you just nosedive.
Laffy Taffy? What are you born in the 1960s? Like,
yeah, at that point,
dude.
just say some saltwater taffy.
We went to the coaching store in Mississippi. You got your big old Laffy Taffy. It was good stuff. Come on now.
All right, moving on.
Moving on. Questions? We got questions.
Yeah.
How did you leave off the candy cigarettes?
Dude.
Nice.
Isn't America great when a kid can go in and buy some candy cigarettes and sit on the side and just kind of, I mean, we
used to be a proper country.
Yeah.
Pettey, some of us were able to buy cigarettes at like 12 years old.
Well, now look.
In the big league shoe.
Right.
Yeah, that big league shoe.
Ever.
Gentlemen, it is time for us to get to the Q&A section of this. You all have asked us your questions. It's time where we get to the questions, answer them, get to interact with all of you lovely people out there. Give us our first question, Justin. Justin in the back doing the Lord's work as always. Angel Garcia, thank you for the question. Says, do y'all think the NIL is causing a rift between players and causing problems? I think the best people to answer this is Chris and Matt. Chris, I'll start with you.
Yes, without a doubt, man. You have teammates that are jealous of one another. And especially when you have a guy that's coming in that's never really played it down, and you have a guy that may have been a multi-time all-conference player, not making anywhere nearly an unproven guy, that can really cause a rift in the locker room. I mean, it's kind of like the same way in NFL, how I have it in the NFL years ago. But I think Jamarcus Russell was the last one to mess it up when it came as far as getting money before it was earned. Was that Jamarcus Russell? When they changed it, the reason why they changed the payout, they need to do that in college. So my answer is yes, because like if you got a guy that's sitting here on money on top of money on top of money, then you got this other guy that has to go to McDonald's and get a $5 meal deal late at night. Then it's gonna be some problem. Just you know, just the nature of the beast, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, NIL, it can cause rifts, but I think it goes to your leadership. I mean, you look at it's all on the head coach, the organization, but I think what causes the problem is the transfer portal added on top of that. So that makes guys who make them feel a little bit entitled, or I'm not getting my shot. So I mean, I think NIL I think it's good for the players and stuff, but like Chris said, I mean, it goes down to the team. You gotta have good leadership. You gotta have coaches who listen, at the end of the day, we're here to do our job. You know, the better you perform, the more NIL you can get. I just think with the addition of transfer portal makes it that much more toxic, if that's a good word.
Love it. Love it. Love getting y'all's insight. Jimmy Williams asked, if Milroe returns, do y'all think we keep Russell next year? I'll take this. Absolutely.
I think Russell might be the starter.
Yeah, but I mean, even then.
He's not concerned.
Yeah.
I think you're more likely to lose probably Lonergan.
If he don't give a damn, we don't.
Yeah, I listen, he knows that he's going to have to come in and compete. That's nothing that's new to him. So I think there's no doubt about that, Jimmy, that if Milroe returns, Key Russ is going to come in, compete, work, and if Milroe is the guy, he's going to look at it like, oh, I get to learn from a veteran in this offense while also honing my craft. Yeah, I don't worry about that as much. I think that he understands that competition is going to be necessary anyways. What do we got next? William and Morris. I have seen Formby was the worst perhaps I saw. It was weird because when they put him in against Missouri, he played well, no? I think so, William. I think Formby played decent against Missouri. Guys, what do y'all think?
I like that second offensive line unit. I like McVay at tackle. He did some really good stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing him on that right side if we kind of run into some issues with Pritchard. But that Ola Salanine looks good at guard. I think we've got some players. I know Luke can break it down even more, but I think McVay, I like him at tackle. The way he paved that hole for Richard Young, I'm like, let's put him on the right side if Pritchard gives us issues.
Yeah. We have a lot of interior type guys. We do. We have a surplus of those type.
Yeah, I'm just dreaming. When I go to sleep at night, I just dream about having two monstrous tackles. I guess it's like a year too early before that happens, but I just dream about having two big tackles. No, I mean, you can say Diddy all you want. I didn't go to those parties.
When the last time we had that? We had was it Wheels and Leatherwood?
What?
Or maybe John two very solid.
Yeah, we're gonna need to go. We're gonna need to go back. Yeah, we're gonna need to go back. When we had two tackles. Yeah. Yep.
No, probably.
That's what I would say. When we had two legitimate, if we have two legitimate tackles, we're winning a dadgum natty. Flat the F out. And I don't give a damn what anybody says about the rest of our team. When we have two legitimate tackles, we're winning a national championship.
Love it. Love it. And I love this right here. Faith Thomas, the guys need a mental huddle day. On Friday before practice, they need to go through not only plays, but how their day affects their play. Because if you're not set off the field, you ain't going to be ready on it.
Good point.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's a really good point, Faith.
Yeah, I think, I think the guys on the previous show kind of even alluded to that as well. That these, I mean, you got to be a team more than just when you get to the locker room. That team happens, y'all are homies. Any team you've been a part of, you're homies off the field. And the closer you are off of it, the absolute closer you're going to be on it. So, yeah, absolutely.
William Morris says, Dupree was also said to be complaining about the lack of discipline. Milroe needs to keep utilizing the tight ends. We are loaded at tight end. I completely agree. Tight end is a very good position. Oots doesn't get the love he deserves a lot of the times, the way they utilize him. You have several guys. Cuevas has been very impressive this year. And I do love some of the plays that they've been able to scheme up for the tight ends, getting those guys involved, getting them good looks.
They've also been missed a great deal too. You can't undersell that. Like, I feel like, I'm not even gonna say I feel like, I know that if we had a better distributor, these tight ends would be eating way more because some of these dudes are running wide open.
Yeah, that's
Wide
football
open.
though. That's football, right? You have one ball, 4 guys running routes. If 3 guys are open and 1 guy gets the pass, that means 2 guys were wide open. So that's kind of a conversation we could have.
Yeah, but sometimes nobody's getting the pass, Ty. That's my point.
Yeah, and sometimes the right tackle gets smoked. So
that's every play, really.
Yeah. So, Keenafy, what does our coaches need to understand by now? What our identity is. That's what they need to understand.
And how to coach winning football in the SEC. Like,
make adjustments.
Oh, great point. Yeah. Great point.
Love it. Jay Smith says, I think we should have the Iron Bowl at Legion Field with 50-50 split between us and Auburn fans. No, the Cotton Bowl is the Cotton Bowl. That has a great tradition because it's been that way. I feel like you would almost reset the tradition of the Iron Bowl. Chris, you seem to agree.
Man, it'd be fights and brawls and everything, man.
You see how quickly that woke him up?
Yeah, and if you're gonna have it at our Legion Field, you got to bring back Keith Jackson. That's the only way I'll watch the Iron Bowl at Legion Field. You got to bring back the great announcer Keith Jackson. So.
Nobody wants to go to Legion Field.
Yeah,
nobody. That place is a shit hole. I'm sorry, it is.
The toilet of Birmingham.
Yeah, they're good.
I mean, the upper deck may fall in on you, so good luck with it.
They still haven't fixed it, man. That's horrible.
I thought they tore it down.
I think it's like is it not one of those like landmark things where they're having to fight because it's 5,000 years old? So it's like, oh man, no, it's a historical marker.
I don't know.
However, I will say this: some of the best damn ribs I've ever ate in my life are right outside parking around that stadium.
Oh man,
love it. What do we got next? That's it. Okay, well, guys, another Tuesday, another great show, another evening of Chris almost falling asleep on camera. We need that Red Bull or Serta sponsorship. Really, at this point, I think either.
I was actually good tonight.
It hurts me so when
I'm
you
tired,
lie
but not like tired, like I usually be.
It hurts me so when you lie.
I hit him with a tranquilizer dart.
Yeah, it hurts me so when you lie.
Actually, fans who are watching tonight, if you had Chris falling asleep on camera 5 times, you have a free Tidal towel. So send us a email justinriley@thebamastandard.com.
Justin, we have a budget.
Who's paying for it?
We just blew the budget.
I ain't paying for it.
Guys, let me know.
Going all our super chat money.
Yeah, there goes the yearly budget right there. It's time for us to go around the table, let everybody know where you can find these guys. Pettey, I'm going to start with you.
Pettey_Daniel on Twitter X. You can find me on Facebook at Daniel Pettey, spelled Pettey, the extra E for excellence. And of course, man, always Tuesday night here with the best gang on the planet, the Avengers at the final whistle. And then you can catch me on Monday nights with Gerald Smoke Dixon at 7 Central on the opening kick. We kick off with a little bit of Alabama, but we talk the whole world of college football. So check us out on Mondays, me and my man Smoke. But then again, of course, there's no better place to be on Tuesday night with the damn Avengers talking shit.
Love it, Matt.
Yeah, talking Bama football. My bad. I don't want to say that. Y'all probably crucify me for that. I'm already getting catching hell all over these threads these days.
It's all good.
Everybody's tight. Have y'all noticed that? The fan, we got to get the fan base back in a good mojo, man. Mojo's been off a little bit.
Yeah.
In vain.
Every Tuesday night here on the final whistle. And listen, I'll be watching film, breaking down LSU, getting ready, trying to help Sheridan, the board, Milroe, come up with a great offensive game plan in Baton Rouge. Because, Just find me here. Final whistle. That's it.
Love it, Chris.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook at Chris K. James Sr. on Instagram at final_Wilson_Chris, and on X at Coach Chris James.
Chris, y'all ever seen Step Brothers when they were sleepwalking? That's Chris right now.
Chris ain't been awake this whole damn show. He just talking in his sleep.
He put the pillows in the oven.
Earlier, I wanted to change the question when I got it to Chris just to see how he would respond. But I didn't think on my feet quick enough.
Hey, I'm always alert, dude. I'm like you can't get nothing by me.
Okay.
Chris like Major
All
Payne.
right.
He looks asleep and he awake.
Yeah.
Hey, you doing Major Payne? Yeah. Hey there. What he told him when he
Dan.
Yes, you catch me right here on Tuesday nights on this channel, right here with this awesome crew of Avengers, the Final Whistle. Y'all be sure to tune in every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. You catch me on Wednesday nights, the Crimson Dynasty, with my co-host C.C. Payne and JB, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central. You catch me on immediately following Alabama games, the post-game show on this very same network. Catch me on Twitter or X at the Final Whistle Dan. You catch me on Instagram, Dan James IV. And y'all make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe. You can catch me also about to raid Chris's refrigerator.
Hey.
I like
Take
In
it.
other words, don't call Dan because he ain't gonna answer. He too
Lou.
busy.
Well, you ain't catching me nowhere because I'm Luscion. But you can find me on X, Rolu241, Facebook and Instagram, Luscion Graves. And you can find me here on Tuesday nights with the greatest group of guys, as I call them, the Avengers, talking about the greatest program that's ever been established in the history of establishments. Like, let's face it, the Crimson Tide. So, I'm going to leave you with this one final thought for the bye week. Do your job.
Boom.
Simple as
Absolutely.
can be. Thank you very much for being here, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week, enjoy your weekend. I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I know what I'm going to do.
Oh, boy. Well,
I'm going to be on that late night.
We'll figure out something, right? We'll figure out something. Until next Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, thank you as always, and roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Nothing but it, baby. Roll it.
Yeah.